Welcome to another Crypto at Night. I'm excited to be here to talk about a very interesting topic, one that's really close to my own heart. DeFi, not like defiance or defying authorities, but more like decentralized finance, which I'll go into a little bit more later. But Rich, I want you to think about this. Have you subscribed yet? Have you made sure that you liked or followed Crypto at Night? If not, take a second. Make sure that you follow, subscribe, so as you can keep up to date with when the newest new come out. Now, moving on. I also want to make sure that you pay attention and listen for a little every once in a while, because those dings are going to help you actually get access to a little bit of Bitcoin, a randomized amount that's going to be placed into a wallet. Now, I'm going to explain more and talk more about this in following episodes, but just make sure you listen for. All right? All right, good. So, moving on, DeFi. You might be wondering, what is DeFi? Why should I care about this? Now, cryptocurrencies, first of all, we talked about Bitcoin, we talked about Ethereum, and we talked about just the whole ecosystem of currencies and tokens that might exist out there. But DeFi is actually a specific term that's meant for certain types of transactions in this space. Decentralized finance. Because currently you go to a bank. When you want to get a mortgage, you go to a bank, a lender. When you want to have some savings, you go to a bank or a financial institution that's centralized, that's a lender. When you want your bank account is at the bank. When you're looking for a payday advance or something of that nature, you might go to a check cashing place, you might hit up Walmart, or you might go to the bank for a short interest loan. When you're trying to refinance your house, insurance, there's all these financial applications that exist in the world that are around these centralized entities that are deciding what you deserve and what you should get. But cryptocurrencies, like we said, offer a new way of doing things, a way to be empowered. So people are devising new ways to have all these different financial transactions done in a way that doesn't require a centralized entity anymore. They're doing it in a way that you can say, hey, I want to determine my own terms. I want to make sure this operates in a way that I want to. So what does that mean? Like, why does that matter? Take Bitcoin, for example. Like, people have been following it. People have been investing in this space. But you're locking up your money inside this asset, this financial digital asset that you wonder, what am I supposed to do with it? What stores can I spend it at? What can I buy with it? Or am I just using it for an investment? And that causes people to figure out, okay, this might not be the best option for me because I actually need my money. I need to do other things with my money. But within that DeFi space, there's some companies that are creating some interesting projects that might help you out with that problem. Such as, let me give you one example. There's one called Dharma Protocol. What they allow you to do is basically, if you had 2 Bitcoin, and let's say Bitcoin is worth $10,000 at the moment, that's worth $20,000. But you know what? You need to pay your car note, or you need to pay your mortgage, or you just need a little bit of extra money. But you really don't want to sell your Bitcoin because you're thinking, hey, this money might rise. What am I going to do? So what you can do actually is you can actually take out a loan backed by your Bitcoin. And you don't have to go to a bank to do this. There's actually an algorithmic, a computer digital way of doing this. There's organizations called Dharma, there's one called Salt, that allow you to use your cryptocurrency assets as actually the basis for backing your loans. So you can make money while you're making money, which for me is a very interesting concept, because that means that you can take, there's a thing called stable coins, for example, and you can say, okay, Bitcoin might go up, but let me actually use my Bitcoin to allow me to get some of this stable coins being money that is supposed to be pegged to the US dollar or other type of currencies. And what that does is, like, it doesn't have the same type of volatility. So why don't you want that volatility? It's because you want to keep your money. You don't want Bitcoin to go down and all your assets to disappear. So you might say, okay, I'm going to use my Bitcoin. I'm going to leverage that for a loan for one of these stable coins, which might be pegged to a dollar. So that means it's one-to-one correlation. So you had $10,000. You say, okay, I want this loan. So give me 10,000 pegged US dollars. And then you can trade that for regular US dollars. You spend that money, but you actually still have your Bitcoin. It's just locked up in a contract that says, okay, until you pay back that initial loan, this money is locked. Now, this is very powerful because now it allows you to actually, in a way, kind of double dip. you can actually have access to your funds and you can hold some cryptocurrency holdings. Now, there's also some risk to this. There's some uncertainty. So a lot of times they actually ask you to over collateralize or actually put up more money than you're actually asking for. And that's kind of typical. That makes sense. They're saying, okay, the value could go down, the value could go up. But if it goes down, we want to make sure that we can be compensated for that. So instead of, if you wanted $10,000 and you had one Bitcoin that was worth $10,000, they said instead of you being able to get $10,000 out, maybe you only get 7,500 out, and then you use the rest to collateralize that loan. That makes sense. So they're building out systems that are able to do this automatically, where you can figure out your own terms. You can go in and go out at your own pleasure, and there's no discrimination. There's nobody that's coming in and looking at you saying, no, you don't deserve this loan, or giving out a better rate to someone else. Everybody gets the same rate. Everybody has the same opportunity. That's what decentralized finance is ultimately about. Now, there are some problems with decentralized finance as they're being implemented right now. Right now, a lot of the dependencies are built where they're supposed to be very secure against people trying to attack the system or take advantage of it. But in doing that, it kind of excludes people that are trying to build their wealth, people who don't already have. Because think about it. To be able to take out a loan, for example, in this space, in DeFi, requires you to already have the collateral in a digital asset. And if you already have that collateral, that means you already have the money in one way or another. That's not the case for everybody. So what are people doing for those situations? Well, some of the things that people are looking at is there's organizations like BlockFi, which is looking at how can you actually create alternative ways of doing lending. And then there's the Digital Reserve, one of the projects I'm working on, which is looking at how can you eliminate predatory lending by actually providing uncollateralized loans to people, but not really at large levels, but at smaller amounts. So as they can actually get that economic engine going and build something greater and bigger. There's an organization like Cello, which is actually working in a lot of developing regions, which is actually a decentralized finance application that was funded by a lot of VCs in the area, VC being venture capitalists. So, I mean, that's kind of an introduction to DeFi. There's some other interesting projects that are happening in space as well, which is around the other points of decentralized applications, which is identity. Because if I want to give you a loan, and I'm trying to not have you pay collateral, I need to know a little bit more about you. I need to know who you are. I might need to know a little bit about your identity. Because remember, these other applications don't care who you are or where you are. It's just an algorithm. But if we want to actually look into these other areas, your reputation might matter. So there's stuff like Bloom ID and Civic and Uport who are looking at ways of actually creating digital identities because we are multifaceted. We have different social media. We have different ways of identifying ourselves. And how do you pull that together into a way so that you have a digital representation? So people are working on that in the space as well. And all these applications together are what create DeFi. So this is kind of the crypto at night discussion for you to just kind of think about and ponder over. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a second. I want you to think about what questions you might have, what things confused you. Post them in the comment box or send me a message, and I will definitely make sure I follow up in future videos, all right? Well, I hope you have a good night and sleep tight. This is Crypto at Night.